All right, well, thank you everyone for attending. I just want to welcome you to the UNLV Folio Tenure and/or Promotion Workshop for candidates. My name is Winnie David, and today I'll primarily be covering the candidate's perspective and what they can expect as they go through the tenure and/or promotion application process via UNLV Folio. If you are a candidate who's going up this cycle, feel free to follow along with your case if we've created it for you as I go through this presentation. So to begin, I wanted to start off with taking a high-level look at the workflow that occurs through UNLV Folio once you submit your application process. Your application packet. We'll then go over how you can access your case, learn about the different ways to access that. We'll go over the different sections that make up your application packet. We'll learn how to submit the different elements of your tenure and or promotion packet. We'll go over where you can find important dates, key dates that are related to this process. And then lastly, we'll go over resources available to you for UNLV Folio. So to begin with the tenure track workflow, once the faculty member submits the various components of their application packet, which we'll cover in detail next, it proceeds to go to the chair or supervisor. And at this point, your chair or supervisor has the ability to solicit external reviews, and they will do that through UNLV Folio. They'll complete a form and send the case forward, and it then goes to the department committee. They convene and complete their vote and recommendation and send it onwards to the department chair or director, who will review your case and complete their evaluation and recommendation. The case then moves forward to the college committee, who again reviews your materials, provides their recommendation and their vote, and then it goes to the dean for their review. And same thing, they'll provide their recommendation. Then the case goes to the university tenure and promotion committee, which they review your materials and send the case forward once they provide their recommendation to the provost. The provost reviews your case materials and sends his recommendation to the president, and the decision becomes final after approval by the NSHE Board of Regents. For non-tenure track faculty, the workflow is slightly different in that after the dean review, it goes straight to the executive vice president and provost. There's no university tenure and or promotion committee that convenes for this workflow. The decision becomes final after approval by the provost. So moving onwards, once we've created a case for you, you should receive a notification via UNLV Folio, and you can access your case directly by clicking on the View Case button within the notification. That link is available for 30 days, so after 30 days, you'll have to use one of the alternative ways to access your case. So the second way you can access your case is from the UNLV Folio dashboard. You'll want to make sure you're selecting the tenure and or promotion packet instead of your annual evaluation, which may be also available on your dashboard. And then the third way to access it is by clicking on your packets in the left navigation menu. And then you'll click once the Your Packets page opens, you'll click on the View link for the tenure and or promotion packet. So the tenure and or promotion application packet, once you open it, you'll find that it contains about 12 sections, 11 to 12 sections. These are the Faculty 180 Vita, opening statement, CV, research or creative portfolio, external waiver release, a teaching section, synopsis, performance evaluations, tenure and promotion guidelines. And for non-tenure track promotion applications, there's an additional section that includes the job offer letter or job posting. You'll also have the tenure and flexibility request, if applicable, and a section for additional materials. So you all may be familiar with the Faculty 180 Vita section. This is generated by the system and based on the data on the profile and activities section. This Vita consists of all of the data for the review period that you're going up for. So it'll pull in all of that data. And then the opening statement, external waiver release, and synopsis sections, those contain forms built into UNLV Folio. And then the remaining sections, the CV, researcher creative portfolio, teaching, performance evaluations, tenure and promotion guidelines, job offer letter, tenure flexibility request, and additional materials. Within these sections, you can either upload individual files or link to document repositories like Google Drive. And you'll notice that there's some sections that have an asterisk by them. And this means that if it's required by the unit for your case. And then the example that we like to give is that an application for promotion to senior lecturer might not require a research or creative portfolio, while an application for tenure for a library faculty member may not require teaching evaluations. So, just keep that in mind. So the Faculty 180 Vita is the first section you'll see listed in your packet. This contains the tenure and or promotion application Vita. And as I mentioned, it pulls in the data based on your review period. Something that I've noticed a lot of faculty members sometimes forget to do is regenerate the Vita. So this is important to do in order to pull in any new information you've added since the last time your Vita was generated. And then you might be wondering what sections are included in the profile and activities pages that get pulled into this Vita. So we have resources available that list all of the sections you'll want to make sure are up to date in your profile sections and also the activities for the review period. We have a resource available for teaching faculty and then another for non-teaching faculty, which is primarily used by the libraries. At the end of this presentation, I'll provide you with a link to our resources and training page where you can find both of these documents. And then moving downward, we have the opening statement, and this is an area where you'll summarize your contributions within 700 words. As I mentioned before, it's a form built into UNLV Folio, so you will find that there's an edit or edit form button. You'll want to click on the edit link or edit form button to open up the form and add your opening statement. So completing built-in forms in UNLV Folio, basically what you'll do is, our recommendation is that you write up your opening statement or other narratives in a Word document or Google Doc and then paste it into the text box. This is helpful to ensure that you're maintaining the word count, but also to catch spelling errors. And then once you've done that, you'll want to click on the Save Responses button and then click on the Return to Packet to be taken to the packet to resume working on the rest of the sections. The next section is the CV, and this is a section, or the CV contains a list of your accomplishments, basically over your academic career. So this is an area where you can upload a file. So you can click the Add button to browse and upload a file from your computer, or you can add a link to a document repository. So I'll go over how to do that next. When you're adding files, you have two options. The first one, like I mentioned, is to browse to your computer and locate the file. You'll want to ensure once you've clicked that Add button that you are on the Add New File tab, and then click Upload, and then Browse to Upload. You'll be able to locate the file on your computer after that, and then you'll finish by clicking Add. A tip here is to be mindful of how you are naming your files so that they can be easily identified. Our recommendation or an example of how to do this would be to include your last name, the year, the item categories, so say if it's relevant to teaching, research, or service, and then the title of the document. And then the second option to add files is to use links to a document repository. Again, you'll want to click on the Add New File tab and then Web Page to be able to add that link. So you'll want to fill out the required fields, which are indicated by an asterisk, and you'll provide a title for the document you're linking to, as well as the URL. You'll want to ensure that the URL is a public URL so that it can be accessed by any of the reviewers who are reviewing your case. And then you would click the Add button. We have a resource available on our resources and training page called Using Google Drive to Add Files to UNLV Folio. If you need any assistance with setting permissions for the file to ensure that it's public, or it's a very quick video if you want to refer to that. And then our recommendation also, you should not add or modify any files that you've linked in your packet after you've submitted it. Okay, moving downward, we have the research or creative portfolio, and this is an area where you can upload files or provide links to access your scholarly output. Again, you can click Add and follow those steps we talked about in the previous page, depending if you want to add a PDF or a link to a document repository. And then a tip for those of you who may be linking to creative performances, sometimes those videos or things could be too large for the system. So you can also link to YouTube if your performance is hosted on that website. And then if you need any assistance with this, you can contact UNLV Folio support. Then we have the external waiver release. As you might recall, this is a form built into UNLV Folio, and you'll use this form to either waive or not waive your right to see the contents of your external review letters. To complete this form, you'll click the Fill Out Form button. Moving on, we have the teaching section, and if this is a section that's applicable to you, then you will add files related to your teaching. One section is the teaching load summary table. We provided a link in the description to download the the form that you'll use to complete this. And then you'll fill out your courses as well as the student credit hours, and then upload this as a file by clicking the Add button to this section. You can also add your teaching evaluations in the teaching evaluation section, although some of you may have been adding those to your to the courses and under scheduled teaching. So this is just an opportunity or a space for you to add those again. And you'll do this by clicking the Add buttons on the right side of the screen. The synopsis section is, in 100 words, you'll provide a synopsis of your academic background and one or two highlights related to teaching, research, or creative activities and service as applicable. Like I mentioned, this is a form in UNLV Folio, so you can click the edit form or edit link to open up the form and add your synopsis. Again, the recommendation is to use Word document or Google Doc and then paste it into the form. We also have the performance evaluation sections, and this is a section where you'll add your annual evaluations and any mid-tenure or mid-promotion evaluations, or provide links to those materials. Similarly, as we discussed, you'll click the Add button and add a link. In case you don't have any access to these materials, your dean's office should have access to the X drive where annual evaluations are stored. So you may want to check with them if you're missing, say, an evaluation for a certain year. And then in the tenure and promotion guidelines, you'll want to upload your unit tenure and promotion standards and guidelines, or you can provide links to these materials. Since this is often something that is shared to external reviewers, my recommendation is that you upload it as a file instead of a link. It just makes it easier on your chair or supervisor when they go to solicit the external letters via UNLV Folio because they can attach it as a PDF. And that also goes for your CV. My recommendation would be to add it as a PDF versus a link to the document. And for those of you who have submitted any requests for tenure flexibility, it's important that you add those documents to the tenure flexibility request section. That clears up any, or it helps clear up any, if your review period is not the standard review period, or if there's it's earlier or later, that helps with that. So you can do that by clicking the Add button. And then there's a space, additional materials that is, you can add anything else that your unit might require. And an example would be a grant summary. If they require that, then you can use that space to add the file there. So once you have completed all of the components of your packet, you've added links, filled out the external waiver release, provided access for teaching, filled out your synopsis, those sorts of things. You can preview your packet by scrolling back to the top of the page and clicking Preview Packet. This is, again, is on the Packet tab. So you'll click on Preview Packet, and it'll open up the reader, and you can see all of the different links you've provided and or files you've uploaded. The only things you won't be able to see in the reader are the forms that you submitted in UNLV Folio. So your opening statement, your external waiver release, and your synopsis. You will not be able to preview that. An alternative way to preview is by clicking this checkbox, and you have the option to preview the sections that way as well. But say that everything looks good and you're ready to submit, then you can click that checkbox and click the Submit Section button. You can also say if you are submitting just your preliminary application, then you can click on the different submit buttons in the different sections. So now going over timelines and important dates, the Tenure and Promotion website has information for candidates with really important and helpful information regarding tenure flexibility, access to the tenure and promotion guide, information for tenure track faculty and non-tenure track faculty, information about applying for tenure and or promotion, and then how you can learn about progress. But what I really wanted to point you to is the key dates. So you want to check that out to make sure that your application, you're in line with the dates that are listed on this website. And then we also have links to UNLV Folio resources if it applies to you in this section as well. I also wanted to point you to UNLV Folio resources and training page. So if you want to refer to the documents that I mentioned in this training or workshop, you can go to that page to access those materials. You can also book a one-on-one appointment with UNLV Folio support if you have any questions about your application or anything related to UNLV Folio.